Good evening, everybody. Tonight we'll be discussing the case of this person's case of Dannette and Jeannette Milbrook, 15. They have been missing from Augusta, Georgia, since March 18th, 1990. 32 years that these twins have been missing, and nobody has bothered to look for them. Find out what happened to them. Early on, they were taken off the registry for missing persons cases after a year. They were labeled runaways. But the truth is, these girls didn't run away. And that fateful day, their sister Shanta Sturgis, who was 12 years old at the time, will be joining us to tell her sister's story. She should be here any second. She's going to tell her sister's story. Shanta, are you in here? Sorry, y'all. She'll be joining us any minute. Okay, well, I think she's in here. Yes, let's approve her. In the background, you'll see pictures of her sisters who went missing 32 years ago. Hello, Shante. How you doing tonight?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm doing good. This is me and Shantae's actually the second time talking. Tonight, like I said, we'll be talking about her sisters who went missing 32 years ago. Um, if you want to
Let's
start, you can go
see.
ahead. I'll start 33. Yeah, 33 now. 33 years now. I know we talked about it before, but it's a lot of people that listen tonight that don't know. So could you go ahead and tell us the story? Tell us whatever way you want to tell us.
Okay. They went missing March the 18th of 1990. They left my mother's home to go to my godfather's house to pick up money to catch the city bus back and forth to school for that week because the school that they was attending was in our old neighborhood. And before they transferred to the new school, they wanted to finish the semester out at Lucy Lane High School.
Okay.
And, and so, let me go back. The day they went missing, the first thing we did was we got up that morning. Everybody got dressed and went to church. After we left church, we came home. My mom sent them to church's chicken. Because the pastor of the church had gave my mom some money, for us to eat lunch for that day or whatever. So they gets the church's chicken, they make it back home. When they got home, Jeanette told my mom that she think it was a man in a white van following them. But they didn't seem like they were scared or nothing like that. We just went on with like a normal day because my mom went to the door and she didn't see anybody. So we don't actually know for sure if the van was following them or the van was just going the same exact way that they was walking. We're not sure. So um, after that, we came home. They got through telling my mom that we start eating lunch, and that's when we start talking about going to school that following Monday. And my mom was like, "Oh well, she ain't have no money for them to catch a cab back and forth, so the cheaper route would be to catch the city bus." So that's when they got on the phone and called my goddad and asked him could he give them some money to catch the city bus, and they made it to his house. After they left his house is when things went crazy because instead of them coming back home, they went to my older sister's house and a cousin of mine house asking them could they walk back home with them. And each one of them told them no. My cousin mom told her that she couldn't go for whatever reason. And this is a cousin that always at our house every single day.
Mm.
I'm talking about every day. She was always, even though she was young, she was 10 at the time when it happened. But she was like a sister to us, you know. So she's pretty much stayed with us. But this
Okay.
particular day, her mom told her no, she couldn't go. I don't know if because it was getting later in the afternoon or whatever the case may be. So they left her house, and my older sister, stayed probably like maybe 5 minutes, probably not even 5 minutes, maybe three from where she lived right around the corner.
Okay.
So they walked from my cousin's house to my older sister's house. My older sister hadn't been too long, had my nephew. So she told them no. And when my mom started getting worried, started calling around asking people had they seen them because they had came home. This is what made us go to the pumping shop, because when my sister said they left her house like walking like they was going towards pumping shop store. So on me and my mom's journey walking to go look for them because it had got late. It had done got dark by then. So we walking and we looking, like in abandoned areas, dark spots, where anybody could be,
Mm-hmm.
after she done called everybody asking people had they seen them or whatever. So we make it down to the gas station. We stopped in there because that's the way my sister said that they had went walking. And remind you, push forward, we used to live exactly by this store, directly by
Okay.
this store. So the people in that store knew us. And the lady that was working at the time, she's the main clerk that we always talked to when we was going in there as little kids. And she told my mom, yeah, they came in there. She told her what they had brought that night, and she said that they brought candy, soda, and something some chips, candy, soda, and something chips. And she said that after she got ready to ring up another customer, she didn't see which way they had went walking. She don't know if they got in the car with somebody. Only thing she knows, she said she looked up and they was gone that fast. And pretty much that's the last that we know of. The person that seen them last was the
So there's
people at the gas
so
station.
there's at the pumping shop station last, and you mean to tell me like nobody saw anything, saw nothing?
Nothing. And mind you, at the time, this is the 90s, they didn't have no cameras. They didn't have no cameras on the outside or the inside of the store. So basically, if anybody that was around in that area had seen them, we wouldn't know, because the investigator that came out a week later never really went to go talk to nobody, not even nobody at the gas station.
Wow.
But anyway, after we left from the gas station, we made our way back home because my mom had done called my siblings, my other sister, and ex had they called home or whatever the case may be. They hadn't called home, so we made it back home. My mom called the police. The police told her that she had to wait 24 hours before she reported them missing.
Mm.
So the very next day, they still hadn't came home. So she got up that morning. She called them back. This time they sent the police officer out. The police officer that came out, now she handed you this information, but you still write it down wrong. How that happened, I have no idea. But they got their birthdays wrong. They got both their middle names spelled wrong. They got their last name spelled wrong. Um, yeah, pretty much it was just a botch investigation. They really didn't do
Right.
one.
Because
The investigation,
the name is still Millbrooks to this day on it. They haven't changed it yet,
exactly.
which I thought was
So
disrespectful. Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry, but that next week, now mind you, you, they went missing on a Sunday. This is on a Sunday this happened. So that Monday would be the day that my mom had to call them back again because they still hadn't came home. So after that, did nobody come back out again into that next week. That's when the investigator came out, who they sat over the case. Once they put him over the case, he came and got his little information or whatever the case may be. Um, and after that, nobody really never called my mom or talked to my mom about it until September of that same year when the people of the church kept telling my mom to go back down there to talk to them to get them to do something because right then, to mind you, they never put them on the news but one time. And that was on one news station. They was never in the Augusta Chronicle. They was never in no other big time newspaper or nothing like that. They was in this little smaller newspaper that they had down here was called the Walker Group newspaper or whatever it was, but it was just something that people didn't randomly get like they would get the Augusta Chronicle. You see what feel what I'm saying? So
Right.
I think if they had to put that out there like that, then they maybe would have did something. I don't know when it was put on the National Missing and Explored Children, but they end up sending some flyers out to my mom. We put those flyers out, and by the time 1991 came, those flyers had summertime done came. They started fading out, and 1991, of my sister and them turned 17 April the 2nd of 1991 because they went missing 2 weeks before their birthday.
Okay.
They had turned 16 that same year that they had went missing. Okay, 1991, they turned 17, April the 2nd. April the 8th is when the investigator came to my mom's house, which she thought he was coming to give her some news, but he came to tell her that they was closing the case out because my sister and them had turned 17 years old, and had he found them, he come make them come back home. No way.
Just like that.
Just like that.
Wow. So basically, from the beginning, they didn't look at nothing.
No, no.
Wow.
Uh,
This is I don't know. It's
Only thing I could
unbelievable.
tell you they did do was go to the school. They went to the school that my sister and them was attending, and they talked to some people that was there. Some of they classmates or whatever, and the classmates told the investigator that my sister and them was last seen that Friday. That school had ended that Friday. Only a couple of people said they seen them afterwards, but this was on that Sunday that they supposed to been seeing them at a bus stop, which I don't even think was true because the city bus don't even run on Sundays down here. They never had. And we found this out years later that somebody said they seen him. So some people were saying so many different things that my sister, it was just so many rumors out that they ran away from home because my mom had too many kids. They ran away from home because one of them was pregnant, and the other one just ran away with her because she was pregnant. I mean, I don't know. We just was hearing all kind of stories, but we weren't hearing the right thing,
Right.
to where lead us to where they at. Even if them, even if then the investigator said he had to close the case out. That's why it's just so frustrating because first you said had they been found, but then you say Nation explored children that they was found, and that they had to take them out the database. But you did this in 1993, but you closed the case out in 1991 though.
Mm. Shady from the beginning. I really think that
Yeah,
it has to be a part of their color. There's no thing I can think about.
yeah. I don't understand it, and still to this day, I have called down there to Richmond County to talk to because they always switching their investigators. There's never a set investigator over the case, and we 33 years
Mm.
into this, and it's never a set person. It's always somebody different, And then when you call down there, like I just called down there this week, my Wednesday, matter of fact, and I still haven't got the phone call back from these people at all.
This is what is it? I mean, what is it going to take for you to get that phone call back? Because you know, like I said, I've been following this case forever. I mean, I watched all the specials on YouTube and everything, and I've seen it. I'm like, you know, these girls have been done wrong since the beginning. It's like their case had no hope.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
like you said, if it
I
would,
mean, they never had no hope. And I'm gonna be honest. I believe the reason why is because of their skin color and where we lived at. Because we stayed in the project. At first, we didn't live in the project when we first moved to Augusta because we actually moved here from Thompson. But I was probably like 5 years old at the time when we first moved down here. But when we moved down here, it was we was living on 12th Street. We stayed at like three different houses around in that same area. And then when we moved to the projects, I'm thinking because we were staying in the projects and they was black kids, they just ruled them off as runaways and was done with it because if you was to call him right now to this day, he gonna tell you they was unruly girls.
mm-hmm,
They was they was unruly runaways. But if you knew my sister now,
oh,
they have never gotten into trouble. They weren't no
right,
troublemaking girls. My sister and them always stayed at home, even if my mom have to go to the washery or to a store or whatever. If
mm-hmm,
they needed to find my mama, they gonna go right to her and they'll go right back home. If we left and went somewhere, we always went somewhere as a family. If my mom said that we can go to the skating ring or to the pool or but whatever, we're always together.
mm,
They're never by themselves. You get what I'm saying? And then when
right,
they do
right,
go by themselves, they still come back home. So
right.
this
I
is
get what you're saying.
all this was out of the ordinary for them not to show back up. And this is what we telling these people, but they still told my mom that she had to wait 24 hours. Okay, she did what she was supposed to do as a mother. She reported her daughter's missing, and for 33 years, nobody really has actually took the time out from Richmond County to do an real investigation. And then, sometimes I sit back and think like, it's it's like they don't care, but they tell you while you in front of them that they want to treat it as if it was their own family. But if this how you treat your family, then I wouldn't even want to deal with it because you came to us when I got the case reopened in 2013. Mind you, my sister and them case was closed for 20 something years.
20 something years this case was closed.
20, my sister and them case was closed from 1991 all the way up until 2013.
91 and 21
Nobody knew
13.
they was missing. Yeah, until 2013. That's when they opened my sister and them case back up. That's like 2 decades. Yeah, it's like 2 decades that my sister and them was out here wherever they are. If somebody did whatever, yeah, they opened my sister
Mm.
and them case back up in 2013. Mind you, I've been doing this since I was like probably between 18 and 19 years old. I've been advocating for my sister because I was 12 years old when they first went missing.
Yes, I remember you telling
So
me yes.
it was only a little that I could do. Only thing I could do was talk to people about it at the time. But when I came up to age, I told my mama, we just not finna let this go.
Right, and I'm glad you
I know
didn't.
she was doing her part as and calling down there, trying to get them to open the case back up, telling them that her girl's still not home, and people keep shutting her down, talking about they can't do nothing. We had them call, got in contact with John Walsh. We got in contact with the Oprah Winfrey Show. It was different people that we were trying to contact so we can get my sister and them. names out there to let people know that they're missing, and everybody would shut us down because they said that the Richmond County, the sheriff department had to get them involved in the case. The FBI, GBI, nobody would do anything because they said Richmond County said that they had been found. So when they opened the case back up in 2013, by the sheriff's word and out of his mouth, he said that my sister named case was closed based off of hearsay, and he didn't like that. That's why they opened the case back up. But if you gonna say that, then you should have been doing any and everything that you could do. So when they got this reward out, I called them and asked them could they do like a press conference or whatever so people can know that this reward is real.
Right.
They denied that. I think they got mad. I think what really got them angry is when we did the documentary. I'm not sure,
Yeah.
but I'm thinking that's what it was.
Yeah. Because
Because after,
a lot of times you publicly call them out, they'll
yeah, but
throw
they
the
called
case.
themselves out. Y'all, you can't. Y'all can't get mad at us for doing what we supposed to do as a
Right.
family.
Right.
Y'all got to get mad at y'allself because y'all did a poor job at it. So because they calling them out on their BS, don't get mad and take it out on us. You should
Right.
still try to do what you can to do to help this family. And we've been coming to y'all for years. We've been coming to them for over what, 3 decades?
Yeah, 3 decades now. Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
That's a long,
And
long
they
time.
still out there, and they still to this day have never tried to announce the reward. They don't want nothing to do with the case, as far as I know.
that's not right.
And everybody that calls down there to talk to them, to get them to talk to them about what's going on with the case or whatever the case may be, they tell them no comment. They don't want nothing to do with it.
Yeah, I've seen that a couple of times where the detective said no comment or he didn't want to talk about it.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, they don't want to talk about it. I mean, I don't even know what else to do no more. I've been doing all I can. I put it out there. I contact everybody. I'm so grateful that the Fall Line podcast
yeah, they
was
did.
the one is the only reason why. I mean, I done other
Right.
podcasts, don't get me wrong, and everybody's sweet and nice, and I thank everybody for doing, but these ladies, when they came
Right.
along, this is the reason why we knew it was a serial killer in our hometown. We never knew that. I never knew nothing about it. Never
Yeah,
knew it was a
I was
serial
looking at
killer.
that.
Yeah.
And
We never.
who's the serial killer? I'm sorry.
His name was Joseph Patrick Washington. He was killing women down here, women of color, and his MO was
Two of them.
women with short hair.
And two at a time, right?
Yeah,
When he kidnapped two at
yeah.
a time.
Some and then he would kidnap them. But before he'd kidnap them, he would shoot them first. He'd shoot them, kidnap them, put them in the car. He'd take them off, rape them. Some of them survived, some of them did. And it was another serial killer down here. They called him the Taco Bell Killer. He was around in the Carolina area. You know,
I just watched a story on him last week on YouTube. Somebody had
yeah.
shared it. Yeah.
So I mean, it's a lot of things that these women had found out that we knew nothing about. They're the reason why my sister and them case blew up big as it did since 2013 when they first reopened the case.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And you would think it would have been law enforcement. You would think they would have did a press conference back then, but they didn't. The only reason why they spoke on it because the sheriff was just getting be reelected, and he said that he wanted to help his community or whatever. And that's the reason why I called back down there. Mind you, I'm not no racist person or nothing, but at the time when they first went missing, Ronnie Scrins was the sheriff. So I thought
Okay.
in my mind, we getting a black sheriff now. Maybe he's gonna do more, you know what I'm saying? Because we his color, you know what I'm saying? And then how the case was closed out and my sister and them still out there somewhere. but we thought maybe he would help. So I kept calling down there, kept calling there, and finally somebody called me back, and it wasn't the sheriff, it was the guy that was running against him at the time. His name was Scott Peoples. He was the one that called me back and told me that they was gonna reopen the case because they didn't like how it was closed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. This is a lot.
Yeah.
This is
Whole
really,
lot.
really a lot.
1993, 1996 came. I was looking at the news and I seen an image of a woman that they was looking for over there in Carolina. They wasn't looking for her. She was murdered, but they had to do a reconstruction of the face because the bones were so badly decomposed. I looked at the image and it looks like my sister. It looks
Jeanette.
like her. And
Yeah, Jeanette.
I said to myself, I said, well, let me call my mom. I called my mom. I said, Mom, you looked at the news? And she was like, I said, look at the news and tell me what you think. And she said the same thing. It looks like her. I'm telling you, it looks just like her. So for years, I kept calling down there, asking them had they found out who the woman was, whatever the case may be. They never told me anything until 2017 is when, no, I'm sorry, 2021 is when I finally found out that they did the, after, mind you, they never got DNA from my mama when the first, when my sister and them first went missing. They didn't get DNA from my mom and my older sister until they opened the case back up.
Wow. Mm, 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 mm.
So that DNA, they took that and they used it to compare to the the bones of the lady I seen in 1996,
Mm-hmm.
and we didn't get the results of it until 2021. And
So
that's when they told us that it wasn't my sister, but this the kicker. My sister and them are not identical twins. They're fraternal
fraternal.
twins,
Right.
right? So their DNA is not going to be the same. So why didn't you compare the bones to both twins and not just that one? And the one that we thinking it looked like, that's not the
They
one
didn't touch.
they did the DNA on. They did it on Dannette. Dannette is the dark skinned
Mm-hmm.
one. That's who they compared the bones to. So Jeanette, I guess it would still make sense. I don't know. It would still make sense either way because they was comparing it to see if it was a match to the family. I guess I don't know how they do it, but I still to this day I still think it looked like them, but
Now, had that
they
particular
said it's
person
not.
been identified or no?
Still not to this
So
day.
those remains have not been
No,
identified.
not just hers. It was a couple of more over there when we first went over there, and then okay, you know how some counties, when people go missing or whatever, or somebody got murdered or whatever, they always go to the next county and be like, well, this is going on with this case or whatever. And they never did that with them. So Aiken County never knew my sister name was missing. They said they never knew. Burke County never knew. Basically, nobody in the surrounding area of Augusta, like Columbia County, South Carolina, all that stuff. They never knew my sister name was missing. So had they found any bones or any remains in any of those counties, they wouldn't have knew to compare it to them because first off, they ain't had no DNA from us, and then second off, no, the surrounding counties never knew my sister name was missing. So when we went up there to talk to the Aiken coroner before he passed away, she's the image that I seen in 1996. That's not the only one that they had. That's the only one
Hold
that
on
they
for a
still
minute.
was still trying to compare it to.
Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Okay. I think I went out for a little bit. Okay. All right. Okay. I think we're good now. Yeah.
Yeah, so I don't know, And right now the reward is at $50,000.
Mm-hmm.
And in August it's gonna go back down to $11,000 because they're gonna donate the $39,000 that was donated to the reward. They're gonna donate it to like these different organizations that help missing people, like if they have to get a private investigator, because some people can't afford that type of stuff. So that's what they're gonna use that $39,000 for, is to um help out with other families and stuff if they need to get private investigators or whatever the case may be. So,
Right.
I mean, we are almost into August and
And
nobody
that's still not. Yeah.
still haven't said nothing. So
Now, and now that's also another angle to this story, right? With their father, right?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So let me tell you that story there. At, off top, their dad never wanted to look for him.
Okay.
Never.
Dad didn't want to look for him.
He
Okay.
never wanted to look for him. He told my mom when she told them that they was missing. When she went to him and told them they was missing, he told her to leave it alone. Them girls probably out there with some man. That's what he said to her.
Now, private, and that was very uncomfortable, like of them. So yeah, that's
Exactly.
crazy.
You're a father, and that's what you would say to the mother of your kids when she out here looking for them, instead of you saying, "Well, let me try to do any and everything I can to help you look for him." He never did that. Okay, push forward. They never investigated him. They never went to talk to him the whole time, that whole 20 years. Hell, to be honest, they never talked to him at all in his 33 years. But he passed away in 2021. Was it 2021, 2022?
I
Yeah,
think it
he
was
passed
20.
away in
Okay,
2021. Yeah,
2020. Right. Right. Okay.
yeah. He passed away in January of 2021, and they never had spoken with him. Never.
Mm.
The whole time. And uh, I want to say it was like in 2017, he ended up in the hospital. And one of the ladies from the podcast, myself, my mom, one of my baby sister, and his sister, which is my sister named Aunt, and her daughter, which is my sister named Cousin. All of us went up there to go see him. Mind you, we hadn't had really no contact with him the whole time my sister and them had been missing, unless my uncle and them would come down here from Thompson to go find him or whatever the case may be. So we just happened to see on the news that it was a lady went to jail for supposed to be his caretaker. And, and she wasn't taking care of him properly. He ended up in the hospital. Okay, we go to the hospital to go see him. They gave us the opportunity to actually sit down and talk to him. So we get up there, talk to him, whatever. They asked him questions. They started out by asking him like little normal questions to see what he was gonna say. Like if he was hungry or how he was feeling, and stuff like that, trying to get him comfortable enough to talk. So once she started asking him questions about my sister now, she asked him, do he know where they're at? And the first thing came out of his mouth was they was dead.
Mm.
He was like, they dead. And then, he just started talking randomly about something else. I said, hold up, wait a minute now. I said, did he just say they was dead? Because you got multiple people in there talking. Nobody's paying no attention but me, the podcaster Brooke, and my baby sister. And all three of us looked at each other like, yeah, that's what he said. So she asked him, what was they buried at? Was they buried in the city?
Mm.
Was they buried in the country? Where would their bodies be? And then that's when he starts saying, well, I don't know. I don't know what happened to him. I don't know. I don't know where they at. Now, mind you just said they was dead, but now she asking you where they bodies at. You saying you don't know. Okay. After that, his niece start asking him about like when she said, Uncle John, you remember when you used to be killing cats and stuff in the backyard and doing this and stuff like that? He talking like something like you know how somebody talk to you about something and then you talking like you don't know what's going on or whatever the case may be. But if I ask you, do you want something to eat or we talking about food or something else, you can talk normal then. He was
Avoidance.
talking like, yeah, he was talking like, at first he was talking like, when they asked him about my sister name, he'd talk like he don't know what's going on, like he out of his mind. But when they asked him about something else pertaining to something different, not my sister name, he talked normal. That's that was his demeanor while he was up there. It was pissing me and my mama off at the same time. And I was like, this is right here was getting on my nerves. So the doctor ended up walking in and seeing that we was like pretty much, you know, talking to him, but somebody in there had their phone trying to record the conversation so we can go over everything that he said later on. And they was like, we can't do that. So we ended up leaving the hospital or whatever. And next thing we know, next week here, he in the nursing home and he got dementia. So now he definitely can't talk. So we never really got no good answer from him, or we never got to find out if he really knew anything or none of that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Did so did you talk to him after that, or that was the last time you saw him?
The last time, okay, when my oldest sister, she passed away on the twins' birthday in 2018. Um, After her funeral, we ended up going to um the hospital to let him know, because that's his daughter too. We
Okay.
okay, the twins and my older sister had the same dad,
Okay.
so we went to go let him know that she had passed away. And when we got up there, the doctors and them, the people at the nurse home pretty much was saying that he was not in his right mind, that he had dementia and he probably wouldn't remember nothing. They let us talk to him anyway, but we couldn't get nothing out of him because he wouldn't speak. He was always asleep or something when we went there to talk to him. So no, I never really got to talk to him after he got out the hospital that time. When we was up there at the hospital, I mean, yeah. So
Mm.
that's not it.
Wow.
When even when we did the documentary, the guys who did the documentary, they end up going over there with me, and they wanted to see because they said they experienced people that has dementia, because sometimes what they be saying be truthful and you just don't know it because they be saying stuff that they remember happened, and stuff like that or whatever. And they went to go get a feeling of him themselves, but when they went there, the same thing, he was asleep. They said he was
So you got
on some kind of medication, so nobody really never got to talk to him.
wow. Wow. It's
Yeah.
crazy. Crazy. So
Yeah.
um
So the little story that they told in the documentary, um, that's crazy too. Okay. People are gonna be like, wow. So the guy that's in the documentary that they're talking to on the phone that's in prison.
right, I saw that. Okay.
Okay, he's actually my my oldest son, ex-wife, father.
Okay.
His daughter and my son ended up meeting in school, but they weren't even born then when all this took place. So the stuff that he was saying in the documentary, they supposed to did their little investigation or whatever, and they said well they wasn't gonna do no investigation because they found his story to be wasn't credible because they figured that he was just trying to get something out the deal or whatever the case may be. But that guy, it's just crazy. Okay, one of the guys that he's saying supposed to be murdered my sister is the lady that was supposed to be taking care of their dad
Yeah.
brother. Ain't this
Oh,
crazy? Yeah,
yeah, that is crazy. Wow.
yeah. That was they mom that was my sister and them dad's caretaker. So they're still in prison. They each got life because they committed murders. My sister and them dad got affiliated with them because he stayed next door to them and he helped them hide one of the people's body who they murdered.
Mm.
So we was thinking like maybe that's what they had on him, the reason why if this party did exist and it did happen at his house, he didn't say nothing because he was trying to protect them and they was trying to protect him from whatever supposed to happen to my sister and them at his house. But we don't know if that's true or not. They saying it's not, but this guy is convinced that it did happen, but he said he was 12 years old at the time that it happened, that these guys was making him sell drugs and stuff like that. Um, so I end up trying to contact him myself because that's my, grandkid's mother, father. So
Mm.
I wanted to talk to him personally myself, but he would not talk to me. So I never got a chance to talk to him either.
Mm.
So I don't know what he was saying was truthful or not, but I do know for a fact some of what he was saying I didn't believe because my sister and them one of them type of girls that be talking about some drinking and smoking weed and all this kind of stuff there. I said if that did happen, they was forced to do that because you know how people say you can't say what people want to do. I know these girls
Right, you
and I've
know 'em, your
been around
sisters.
them. You know what I'm saying? Even though, sometimes you try to hide stuff from your parents, but you ain't gonna hide nothing from your siblings. You will talk to your siblings before you'll talk to your parents. That's just
Yeah, you
how we
sure
were,
will.
you know what I'm saying? And so if they was out here doing stuff like that there, you know, I would have knew, even if they didn't want me to know, I still would have knew because I was still hanging around with people that was older than me at the time, even though I was 12. You know, it was my cousin them that I was
Right.
around, but still, I would still know for a fact how they act, what they do, And my sister Jeanette, I can still picture her right now. She's the type of girl that she's quiet. She's very
Okay.
quiet and the only thing she want to do when she get out of school is sit there in front of the TV with her hands up on her chin like this right here.
Uh-huh.
She'll get her a chair from the kitchen table. At the time, back then it was floor model TVs, the TVs that sit on the floor.
Mm-hmm.
She'd get her a chair, put it in front of the TV, and this her all day. My mama be fussing at her. Girl, you better get away from the front of that TV before you go blind. She loved animals. She wasn't. She's mainly the quiet one.
Okay.
Dannette, she was kind of quiet, but if you get her wrong, she
And she
will. She be the one, the aggressive one, to try to protect everybody. Because I remember one time they got into an altercation with a girl at the bus stop. Okay, they got into it with the girl at the bus stop because the girl was picking on that Jeanette, and Dannette was the one that was, they got to fighting or whatever the case may be. But that was the only thing that they have ever gotten in trouble by about was that fight, and they didn't get in trouble with the police. It was at the school. You know how they the bus drivers have to report to the school about the incident if it's at the bus stop or at the school or whatever. That's
mm-hmm.
that type of thing. And Dannette got suspended from school, but they also should have spent the other girl, but she was some kin to the principal. at the school at the time. They was going to East Augusta Middle School, but they done changed it to Hornsby Middle School now. Yeah.
So much has changed in those 33 years.
Yes. A lot has changed. A lot of the people that
Now,
they could have talked to at the time when they went missing, they should have you know, talked to these people then. Most of these people that deceased now, you know.
right.
So I don't know how we would be able to get by doing that, you know, unless they told something to a family member or something like that. But who knows? You know, these people are not doing an investigation like they should, that I think they should do anyway, you know.
Yeah.
They
And who was
don't
this?
contact, they
Uh-huh.
don't contact us. It's just crazy that we got to contact them all the time. Nobody never calls us. And it's 33 years and it's still the same thing. Nobody never calls us on the phone, asks us how we doing. Have we heard anything? No information. Do y'all have any idea of whatever? They don't call us, period. We have to call them.
Now, this investigator that you had on the case, he was also over the Tiffany Nelson case too, right?
Yes, he
And
was. Yes, he was.
he also labeled Tiffany a runaway too.
At a runaway at 9 years old. Yes, he did.
And
She was 9 years
she
old.
sure was.
And it took him 11 days. Now, I heard this out the sheriff's mouth. Nobody, this ain't hearsay on the street. When we went to go have the meeting with the sheriff, he told us that this same guy, if he had worked for him, he would have been fired him because he done looked he had a stack of files on his desk when we went to go have this meeting with him, finally, after trying to get a meeting him and call him down there for I don't know how long. We had to corner him at a meet and greet in order to get this meeting. But you know, that's neither here nor there. We got the meeting. He had a file stacked this high on his desk of cases that this man had, and he told us that the man worked for him, he would have fired him because he brought up the Tiffany Nelson case, and he said he was over Tiffany Nelson's case, and it took him 11 days to rule that little girl case as a abduction, because he had first said that little girl had ran away from home too.
Right.
Yeah.
And they ended up
And they
finding
ended
her.
up finding her body in
You know what I mean?
2005.
Yes, 11 years later in a shallow grave.
Yeah, yeah,
Mm.
yeah,
So he was quick to just label these people
yeah,
runaways then.
yeah. But I ain't gonna lie, if you was Caucasian, oh, they look for you
Oh,
then.
of course.
But,
Of course. It's
but they said that this is what he said. This came out of his mouth. His name is Detective Ship. He came out of his mouth and he said these words that had he went out here and found these kids. Only thing they was gonna do, he was gonna find them, bring them back home, and they wasn't gonna do nothing but run away again. He don't know why the sheriff department put him over missing people case. He said, but he think he know the reason why they did it because he didn't have kids. The other people that worked in his department had children. He didn't have kids that he can go home and kill. What
and
kind of mess is that?
they didn't want to face
You
that. That's what it was.
yeah,
They didn't want to face that, but they go home. They go home every night with their kids, and their kids are safe and all that.
yeah,
I guarantee you, they probably went home and told their kids extra tighter, but it doesn't make it right that they didn't look into these cases. Like they dropped the ball all the way. I think the ball was never picked up. Exactly.
yeah. It wasn't. It wasn't. And still to this day, I just don't know who. I don't even know if there's an investigator over it or not. Because I called down there to try to talk to somebody, and they told me they was gonna connect me to the investigations. They connect me to investigation. Nobody answered the phone. I left a message, left my phone number, which they already knew who I was. I know they do, because I told them what I was calling for. I need to know, can I get them to announce this reward? They still haven't did it. This reward been going on since last year. For it to be $50,000. They started it in August.
Mm.
It's finna be again, they was only going to do it for a year.
And you would think that $50,000 they would put that out,
Yeah,
fifty thousand
but
dollars
they
that would
did.
make somebody talk.
Yeah,
Never
they
know
didn't
somebody's
do it. But we
making
got
millions.
billboards up now.
Okay,
We got three billboards up down here. They got one on Middlesboro Road. They got one on Sibley and Gordon Highway, and they have one on Washington Road. I haven't seen it, but a couple of people have told me they seen it up there.
okay.
But they got a billboard with the reward on there. But the thing about that is, uh, it's gonna be taken down in what 2 months.
2
They gonna
months to
have to
do
take
it.
it down because they're gonna have to take it down because right now, um, they basically just gonna have to take it down because nobody's saying nothing, and that the reward is up there for a resolution. They got to get them the right, correct information to find where these girls at, you know, or if they know where they at, or it could be something small.
It could
If
be.
somebody out there knows something, even if they don't think it's important, it could be important. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Yeah. So
it could.
they should be able to call if they scared or whatever the case may be. They can remain anonymous. They don't have to give their name. Just give them what information they do know. You know what I'm saying? Our family been dealing with this for 30 something years. These girls are 49 years old now.
That's a long time. That's a
Yeah,
long
they
time.
was 15. And so just imagine my mom finna be 70. And she ain't
I
seen
just,
her girl since she was 35.
mm, I just had a same interview a couple weeks ago with a lady, a mom from Arkansas. Her daughter's been missing for 29 years this year. And it's just like those are a lot of years, but I like how y'all never give up hope. Y'all keep on going. Because like you said, if you don't advocate for your sisters, then nobody else will. You know,
Right.
and that's where I come in too. Because I'm like I see a lot of these cases that are. They're not really known. Like a lot of people don't really know about, your sister's case, or whatever. Some people know about it, and some people don't. So that's where I come in and try to share it, and
Yeah.
do whatever I can. This is my journey I've been on for a while to help,
Yeah.
help our company. We got to. Nobody else gonna help us out.
Exactly.
And my viewers,
Exactly. That's why I try to keep going. I even though it seems like you just going on with everyday life, but you still got to live with that. You still got to, you know, just carry that around. It's just a weight that you carrying around that you a feeling that you don't know you walking in stores. I don't know if I'm gonna run up on them. I don't know how I'm gonna act if I was just happen to see them somewhere. It, I don't know. We don't know if they alive. We don't even know if they got kids. We don't even know if they got married. We don't know nothing. You hear me?
right,
Nothing.
nothing.
Nothing at all. We don't know if they were scared. My mama always talked to me. She said they probably was scared. They didn't know what was going on or whatever the case. But we just don't know nothing. So we just speculating on what could have happened, who could have done it, and we still don't know to this day who could have done what. You know what I'm saying? And in my mind, I've been telling them to investigate the investigator.
Right.
I'm so pissed with him to because he not. I don't know if I told you about the when he gave my sister and them case file to a juvenile probation officer.
Yeah, you told me that. Okay, you can repeat that. Yeah, I remember you told me that he gave it to the juvenile
Okay,
probation
he
officer.
gave a case file to a juvenile probation officer. The juvenile probation officer that he gave it to, my mom already knew him. He stayed in around in our neighborhood the old neighborhood we stayed in basically, and he my mama had already talked to him, and he told my mom that he was gonna do any and everything he could to help her, because mind you, the case was closed by then. The case
Right.
was closed. Everybody kept telling my mama how they couldn't help her, unless the police got them involved or whatever. So he told my mama that he was gonna help her because he just didn't understand how two girls could leave and nobody never see them again.
Yeah, just
Nobody hear
yeah.
nothing from them
And
again.
that's the worst
Okay,
part, not knowing.
this same investigatorship told my mom that this juvenile probation officers in contact with my sister and them the whole time. So a dead man can't tell no tales. The guy ended up passing away before he could help my mom.
Mm.
Right. So this is the story that Detective Schiff was telling people, that he was in contact with my sister and them the whole time, and that my sister and them told him that they was trying to get to Texas. We never lived in Texas, don't know nothing about Texas. Ain't no social media going around then, no TikTok, no Instagram, no none of this going around in no 1990. So why would they want to run away from home to go to Texas with who?
Exactly. And nobody's there.
So you can't ask this man this because this man is deceased. So why are you saying this? And if that's the case, and if my sister and them didn't want to come home, they legal age by that time, why you couldn't give my mama an address or something to let them tell my mom the reason why they don't want to come back home?
Because they ain't
Don't
never found them.
exactly.
They ain't never found that. It was just a whole okay. We gonna get it and we gonna dump this case. We ain't gonna investigate it or nothing like
Yeah.
that. So
That's
nothing much
exactly
about
what
that.
happened.
So how is your mom? I'm sorry. How's your mom like these days?
I mean, she's doing okay for the most part, health wise or whatever, but still,
In the
yeah,
back of
that's
her
still,
mind,
I
yeah.
know to this day, she's still, it still devastate her because she don't know when somebody gonna knock on her door finally and tell her if they found them dead or alive. You know what I
Right.
mean? We just don't know.
Mm.
We always got hope that they are still alive out there somewhere. You know, I was talking to somebody about it last night, and I was telling them the same thing. Though they might be out there somewhere. What if they are and don't know
Yeah.
they missing because they never? Okay, I know they putting it out down here, and I know they did the documentary. Everybody don't look at TV. You get what I'm saying?
They don't. You're
So
right.
what if the sheriff department in our hometown put a bulletin out, or however email or however they can do it to different states, put it out there because I done seen some stuff that's based on true stories where even though they put it out in the hometown, they could be in a whole nother state like Japan or somewhere else. If these people in these other states don't know these girls missing, how would they know to contact the police or whoever and say, oh, those the Millbrook twin girls. Them girls been missing, even if it ain't but one of them. You know what I'm saying? How can they be able to do that if they don't know they missing? Now, mind you, for 20 something years, they already been missing and nobody knew, not even the people in our hometown. So if they was to put it, now that everybody pretty much know, not, I ain't gonna say everybody, but some states, because I had people from Australia contact me saying that they done seen the documentary or whatever the case may be, but they need to get with law enforcement, need to contact law enforcement. The FBI, I be going to the event that one of the news ladies down here in Augusta, she do every year. I've been going to those and I be meeting people. And one of the people I met this year was an FBI agent.
Okay.
He said he knew about my sister and them case and he wanted to talk to me about it further. So he gave me his card, told me to call him or whatever the case may be. I have done that, and I think he wanted to help while we was at the event. Talk to him while I was at the event. He said that he gonna talk to Roundtree, which is our sheriff, and he said he know for a fact Roundtree listen at him or whatever the case may be. So I gave it a shot, called them. Guess
Right.
what? Now you ain't calling back. You ain't calling me either.
ain't called back since then either.
Nope.
So basically, just been wasted time after wasted time.
Yeah,
So
basically.
I mean, so now that got me, it has me intrigued as to why don't y'all want to help?
That's what I want to know. And then the story that the guy told in the documentary. Okay, okay. Well, that same month, I want to say they had me and my mom come down there to the sheriff department. They had my mom in one room, had me in another. They asked her questions, asked me questions. Okay. After that, one of the investigators that was talking to my mom, you know, he ended up contacting her after the documentary aired. He
Okay.
told my mom that they was no longer going to investigate what that guy said, that said what he said in prison. They weren't going to investigate it anymore. My mom called me upset. Shante, these people talking about they ain't gonna do this, that they ain't gonna try to investigate that no more. Because mind you, they just told my mama this on national TV that her daughter was dead. That somebody killed her children. And she wanna know who did it, what the case may be, was it true, da da da. So they call her and tells her that they weren't gonna investigate no more. So of course you a mother, you gonna be upset, right?
Mhm.
Okay. She called me upset, crying, saying they said they ain't gonna investigate. So I called them, asked them, why are y'all calling my mama upsetting her, talking about y'all ain't gonna investigate this? How y'all know that it's not true? These exact words. He said it's not true, man. We did our investigation. The story that he gave is true, but it wasn't your sister and them that it happened to. It was two other females. And I said, well, who are the two other females? He said he can't give me that information. I said, why not? He said, because it's still up on the investigation. Okay, you Google and you tell me what two females that are missing down here in Augusta, Georgia since 1990 or for a long period of time that this could have happened to. There are none.
Right.
So that's why I say I don't know if the story true or not, but they said it's not. So they're not investigating, and I don't know what else to do about that.
Yeah. And I don't know. Just yeah. This whole thing. It's like I mean, honestly, and the first time we talked on the podcast, I think I probably listened to that story probably like at least 30 times. I just kept listening to it over and over because it had me so intrigued on it. Because I mean, I've heard of stuff happening in missing persons cases, but I haven't heard of nothing like this where they're not investigating, they're not calling about it, they're not doing anything. It's just
Right.
it's just unbelievable, but it's believable at the same time because it's been going on for so long time. Like
Yeah.
black men, women, and children have not been looked for, and it's crazy because if somebody would have just took the time out to look for them or even investigate the
Yeah.
case could have been closed or they could have found out what happened. You know,
Yeah.
it's just I don't know, just sad. I just
It's very,
want you just
very sad.
yes,
Very sad. They got nieces and nephews out here. They never met before. They got a brother that they ain't don't even know. They don't even know they got a brother because my mom had all. Well, I take that back. She ain't have all girls because my other brother was born before me, but he passed away before I was born.
okay.
But the majority that's living, my mom had all females except for my brother, and he just turned 32 last week.
Does he ever ask about his sister and stuff?
Yeah, I mean, everybody, we talk about him, we talk about
Right.
him, tell them about him, because my other siblings, they was very young when my sister and them went missing, except for one, but everybody else was like 5 and 2 and 3, so they don't really too much remember them.
Right.
But me and my sister Jacqueline, we do,
Right.
but other people, I ain't gonna say she don't think about them or whatever, and that everybody have their own lives and stuff like that. So I pretty much just, even through my life, I got 5 kids of my own. My oldest is 31. I got one that's gonna be 27. I got one that's gonna be 17, and my last child, I got one that's gonna be 20, 17. I got my last baby. She'll be 14 next year. But, it's hard. I have to try to work and take care of the kids that I have at home, take care of my household. But out of all that, you know, I still was able to raise my kids and try to push the issue for my mom to find her kids.
Right.
I know they're my sisters, but they're her children, and to go through life seeing your parent, like, I ain't gonna say deteriorate or nothing like that. It's just like you can tell when something wrong, and they like depressed and stuff like that. That's why she takes so much medication now. She takes so much. I'm telling you, just so much medicine she take now to uh
Try to block
yeah,
it out.
yeah.
Well, yeah, you can't block it out. Yeah.
Yes. It ain't she blocking it. It's not blocking it out,
Right.
but it's basically trying to cope with it. What has happened in your lifetime? Mind you, she got a son that passed away. Okay. Then my sister passed away on the twins' birthday. Now this
Mm.
is the sister that she talked to. My older sister and my mom was like this. They talked on the phone every day because my older sister, she didn't work.
Okay.
So that would give my mom comfort when they talk on the phone every single day. Every day they talked on the phone. My sister be down there with her, to keep her company and stuff like that. And for them to pass away on the twins' birthday, that that was devastating. I haven't seen my mom shed tears before, but I have never heard the kind of scream that I heard out of her mouth that day when they told us that my sister had passed away
Mm.
on the twins' birthday, on the girl's birthday. Yeah,
I
and
wanted
this
that. Yeah, that's
28.
yeah. And I wanted that like what was I wanted that like it was a sign,
That's what
because what they giving
we
her,
said.
what they giving
We
her a
said the
sign.
same thing. We said the same exact thing. Same thing you saying. We said that because I promise you, I got up that morning. I had to take one of my kids to a doctor's appointment that day. When I got up that morning, it didn't feel like nothing out of the ordinary. So I said, you know what I'm finna do? I'm finna celebrate my sister's name birthday. I'm gonna surprise my mama. I get so over here because I stay across the street from a Walmart. I goes to Walmart and start picking out stuff that, I was gonna have for the little get together for my mom or whatever. And she ended up calling me while I was in line getting ready to pay for the stuff. I ain't even get to pay for it. I left the buggy there because she was like, the people said we need to come up to the hospital. And I was like, come up to the hospital for what, Ma? She was like, well, they had to rush Asa to the hospital. That's my sister's name. We call her Asa,
Okay.
but her name is Asiander Holmes. And we gets up there, I go get my mom, we get up there. On our way going there, I was like, Mom, I was like, I hope they ain't finna call us and telling us to come up there for something we don't want to hear. And she said the same thing. She said, I hope not either. So we gets up there, you know, I let my mom went in first because her and my nephew, I dropped them off at the door and I went to park because, my mom, she really can't walk too good now.
Mm-hmm.
So I let her off at the door. I went and parked the car. By the time I got in there, they already had my mom them in the back. And I told the people at the desk, I was like, I'm here for AC and the home. She was like, oh, you with the other family members? I was like, yeah. So we gets back there and we in this little room. And I thought that was strange. So I'm on the phone with my oldest daughter and I'm telling her, I was like, well, let me charge my phone. I said, my phone about to go dead. I said, I need to charge my phone. By the time I got ready to get up to put my phone on the charger, the doctor's walking. We still not have no idea that it's some investigators outside the door until the doctor asked us what we knew about my sister's health or whatever. And we was like, that's what we was coming here for y'all to tell us.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, they start telling us, they would run down of what they had did, and da da da, and then they was like, "Well, she died," and I have never heard my mama scream to the top of her lungs like that. That was the hardest thing. And as soon as I opened the door, I couldn't take it. I just left out the door and I was standing in the hallway and I didn't even look to the left or right of me. I just walked out.
Mm.
And then by the time I turned around and go back in there to check on my mom, it's two investigators on side. So I'm gonna assume my sister actually passed away at home. They got her to the hospital. They tried to revive her, but nothing worked. And that's when they called us up there because I asked them, can I come up there? But I really had to go up there. Anyway, I said, well, do y'all need me? And I canceled my daughter's appointment,
Mm.
because it wasn't nothing but a little basic checkup. I would have canceled it to go sit with my sister, but so
It's a
I,
lot. I know. I know it's a lot. Sometimes you gotta be strong even when you don't want to be. I know all about that. I know about that. I started my pages because I lost two brothers to the streets, so that's
yeah,
constantly on my mind too. So, but it's also allowed me to help other people, you know,
yeah,
that may be in my situation or vice versa, different things. So, but yeah, this
yeah.
is this. I'm telling you, this is like
And then I ain't mean to cut you off,
you
but then
good.
you got to go through life. Every time your kids walk out the door, you
You
got to
think
have
about it,
that a burden on your mind. You just be thinking like, if they gonna come back home, and then your kids they want to grow up, but then you scared for them to grow up because they be at, can I go here? Can I do this? And then they tell me I'm too overprotective of them. Mama, you just don't want us to have fun. It ain't that. They know the story. They know my
right?
sister now missing or whatever, but they just don't know how
Hi.
damaged we are that
Yeah.
has happened to where we just try to want to protect them at all costs. You know, that's the hard part too. They
It
just don't
is. I,
realize, and you know,
I know I got three teenagers myself, 13, 11, 15. So yeah, I'm in that stage now where it's like, oh,
yeah,
I want to be too overprotected, but you know,
yeah, exactly. That's what I try not to be too overprotective. But I find that's why I try to do counseling because I find myself I'll be like, damn, let me.
mm,
Maybe I was a little wrong, a little too harsh, or whatever the case may be. And then I probably come back and say, well, I didn't know. I'm sorry, or something to that effect, or
right.
whatever. But
That's just good parenting 101.
it makes it worse because we don't know a lot of stuff that has happened in the world. I'm talking about nothing, nothing. We don't know. Don't know if they're alive. We don't know if they're dead. We don't know if they got kids. We don't know if they ever got married. We don't know if they I know for a fact they can't be still in Augusta, Georgia. So if they are somewhere, it's got to be in another state somewhere. I don't think it's Georgia. Period. It could be in another state. Yeah. Who knows? Or maybe somebody brainwashed them to make them think that their family didn't care nothing about them or whatever. Maybe they got sex trafficking. Because mind you, at the time they went missing, the masters was just getting ready to start. 'Cause people was coming in for the master. They had sex trafficking going on for that long that we didn't know nothing about. Like I said, because we were kids, we weren't paying none of that stuff no attention. We weren't paying none of that no attention. So, of course, we ain't gonna be looking for that. But now that I mean, we've been going through this, we've been finding out all kind of information, what was going on back then, and how long it's been going on, and you know, and it's still going on to this day. So maybe that's what happened to them. Maybe somebody did sex trafficking. Maybe somebody offered them a ride or something. I mean, who knows? We just don't know. I just be speculating of what could have happened. And if somebody did offer them a ride, I know that they ain't gonna get in the car with nobody that they don't know. So it would have had to be somebody that they did know. Who? I have no idea because none of our family members really stayed down here like that with cars. And the only other people we did with was people that was at the church that we went to. And we grew up at that church. So I just don't know. I can't explain it. Yeah. So I don't know what else to do no more. Hello?